Straight.
Hey, welcome to Rubbing Elbows with Tommy John, brought to you by Roger Williams, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Anyway, we have a great show today, and it's about my friend and my catcher and the captain of the Yankees, Thurman Munson. What was Thurman like as a family man?
Well, I've told so many stories. Probably he wouldn't be thrilled that I've shown the gentle or tender side of him, but truly he was, I've often told the story about my daughters. He would want to, Tracy was our oldest, and when she was born, it was in April, and he was obviously playing, and he said, "You can't give her her first bath until I come home." And I went, "Wait a minute, when will that be?" Well, of course, it ended up there was an off day, and so he was able to fly home. And there's this big lug of a guy who, all of the media thought was just a bear and didn't have a gentle, tender side. And there he was bathing his newborn baby because no one else was allowed to give her first bath. So I think that says something about the man. But as they grew older, he would want to give the kids all their bath and would want to read them their bedtime story, which I think for anybody who sees Thurman as this unbelievably hard-nosed ball player, to see him blow dry his daughter's hair and be tender and caring, I think just, they say an enigma, and I never really knew what that was, but he certainly was that, because he had such a tender side, and it was so amazing to see. And, he would take them Halloweening every year, and I'd be left at home, and the kids would think Thurman Munson was there, and they'd ring the doorbell, and I'd answer, and they'd all go, "Oh," and they'd all be so upset. I said, "Well, he's out there with his kids. Go find him." So, he was definitely, his family was his priority. I would definitely say that.
Let me add that when I truly fell in love with Thurman Munson, we were in Boston. I wasn't on a scheduled trip with the team. I just jumped in my car with my bad boy partner Hector, and we drove up to Boston to catch the last game of the series. And Thurman says, after the game, Thurman said, "I didn't know you were coming up." And I said, "I wasn't planning, it was last minute." And he said, "So you got a car here?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You know what? You just gave me an idea." And I said, "What's that?" "I'm going to drive to Teterboro. You're going to drive me to Teterboro, and then I'm going to fly home." And when we got into the car, we take off. My friend Hector is driving. We stop at a McDonald's. We're driving. He's feeding my friend Hector. I'm sitting in the back, and I am amazed that here's Thurman Munson, the captain of the Yankees, and he's feeding the other bat boy. And he's putting the fries in his mouth. He gives him a bite. He hands him the drink. Hector zips off of the straw, and I'm just I was totally amazed. And then he said, I said, "Thurman, why are you so anxious to go home?" You know what I'm saying? And he said, I can get home and put my kids to sleep. And, I got a new baby. And so I go, "Is his name Thurman?" And so then he says, "I wouldn't do that to him." And so me and Hector started laughing. He said, "What the hell are you laughing at? His name isn't Hector either." I mean, it was so sweet. And it was at that moment that I remember I didn't think about that story until my first child was born. And when my first child was born, I said, I will always be a father like Thurman Munson. And to this day, that has always been. And I honestly believe look, I'm not a braggart, but I know I'm a good dad. You know what I'm saying? I have 4 kids and I'm really proud of them. And every day they all know that I'm a good dad because of Thurman Munson.
Mike, you were very, 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 very young. Well, do you remember anything about your dad playing ball, going to the ballpark?
Unfortunately, I don't. No, I don't. I had just turned 4 when he passed, and I just don't. I don't really have any memories.
Well, that's a shame. Your dad was a good guy, great ball player, super teammate. And, you know, like I said, people like Thurman come along once in a lifetime. And when they're there, I think you've got to grab a hold of them and don't let them get out of sight. Stay, you know, I wish I could have pitched to him more than the few months that I did in '79. I might have won 300 games if I had.
Straight